Yeah, hello. I just want to take this time to give a shout out to the Queen of Collaboration, Queen Angela. She was one of the first people who gave me the opportunity to relate to the people what I was trying to do.
Wow. To think that 8 years ago, I was a survivor of domestic violence. I was fighting for my life. And to think that today I am a motivational speaker, podcast host, author of almost, I think, 54 books now. I've lost count. God has given me a platform to share, and I lost count. But today I'm here today to let you know that there is life after abuse. There's life after domestic violence, whichever form you may experience it. There's life after going through. And I'm here today to let you know that I am no longer a victim. I chose to take my power back. I chose to walk in my power. I chose to be the voice for that person that may not have a voice. So today I want to share with you guys what this journey of domestic violence has been like for me. In 2014, I experienced a life-changing episode of domestic violence. And to be honest and to be frank with you guys, that wasn't my first time experiencing domestic violence. I've experienced domestic violence on so many levels over my life, and because I didn't know what domestic violence truly was. You know, we think that it's just the physical part of domestic violence, but there are so many other types of domestic violence. And as I look back over my life, I can say that I originally experienced domestic violence in my early 20s when I was in college. You know, a lot of the things that we think are cute, a lot of the things that we think is attractive are not, and are forms of abuse. And as I look back over my life, I see that I've been going through domestic violence for a while, but now that I'm able to recognize what it is, I'm able to come out of those situations. I'm able to help myself as well as those around me not put themselves in that situation. And I'm just grateful that I had this experience to be able to share with someone else. Because did I know that this would be my life? No. Because I was always, and if you go back and you kind of trace and track who I am, you kind of get a gist. This person that you see before you right now, this person that looks like she's bold, this person that looks like that didn't happen to her or will ever happen to her. Yeah, that's what I thought too. I was that person that said, oh no, I watched The Burning Bed and I watched all types of domestic violence type pictures on TV, and I said, that would not be me. Now, anybody that ever think they're gonna put their hands on me, or anybody think that they're ever gonna control me, that's not gonna be me. And yeah, that's what I thought. But when you're put in a place where you're put in you may be going through a dark situation or a dark time in your life, and you cannot see the light. And that's what happened to me. Go back to 1991. 12 days after my 16th birthday, I lost my mom. That was my lifeline. That was my everything. And then my life began to be cloudy. My life began to be uncertainty. It just began to be different than what I was used to and what I had experienced. But those were life changes. Those were life situations. Those were things that were evolving me into the next journey that I was supposed to go on in my life. Do I wish this on anybody? No. But if it happened, I want you to know that you can survive and you can get through it. I remember the very first time I was dating this guy. I was in college, and I was at Morris Brown, and I was dating this guy. He was a lot older than me. He was established in his line of work. Amazing job. Serve and protect. And I'm not going to put him out there like that just because of the line of work that he do. But the people that know me and were in this time period, they know who I'm talking about. But I was dating this guy, and just so happened he happened to be a police officer. And at this time, you know, the things that he was doing, I thought was cute. I thought it meant that he cared. That was because you got to understand. I was in a place where I lost my mom at 16. I didn't have a lot of. I didn't have my father in my life, and I didn't have a lot of that love. I was looking for love in all the wrong places. Just put it out there. So when people show you love, that's what you're looking for. That's what you get. So you get it in a lot of different areas. So when this guy was showing me love, and I thought that, hey, this guy come pick me up on Fridays. I'm with him all weekend. I don't have to drive my car. I don't have to do nothing. I can just go. At first, it was cute. At first, I thought that, you know, hey, this guy really care about me. He really wants to be with me. But then when it started to be where I'm just walking into my dorm, how do you even know I'm home? How do you even know I'm in my room? I'm talking about literally I can walk into my dorm room and my phone would ring. I'm not talking about a cell phone. I'm talking about the dorm room. When I would walk into my dorm room, time I opened my door, my phone would ring. Like, and the first thing he wouldn't say, hello, how you doing? And you ready? That's what I got. Are you ready? Y'all, he was so controlling, like, and then think about it. He had a son, and his son was, I'm probably like 5 years older than his son. I want to say his son was like 17 or 18. His son was like in high school, getting ready to graduate or whatever. And this man just, like, he just controlled me. Like, Fridays, I would go to his house, and I would be there until Sundays. He didn't care if I had to work or not. And I worked a job, y'all. I worked at the little pizza place across the street from the dorm. So I had a job. I was a shift leader. So I couldn't just, like, it got to the point to where he would pick me up on Fridays and nobody would see me until Monday when it was time for me to go back to school. And it got to the point to where I had to tell my job that I couldn't work on the weekends. I could work Monday to Thursday. Because on Fridays, I knew that this man was coming to get me. If you weren't going to let me work, if I couldn't be off by 12 and in my dorm, then I couldn't work. Like, I was having to work everything that had to do with Angela around this man. And it just got to be crazy. And then it got to be to the point where he didn't want me hanging out. He started following me to different places that I was going to with my friends. And then my friends was like, hey, that was my first experience. I saw it coming, so I said, you know what? It was no abuse, like physical abuse. So I was like, okay, I got to get out of this. So I got out of that and just kept on living life. I was in Atlanta, so 559 was one of my favorite spots to visit. Everybody knew me. Everybody knew the crew that I hung with. We were athletes. We played basketball. Everybody knew us. So definitely did not think that this was going to be my journey, that I was going to be the person that ended up being in all of these abusive relationships. Well, I went through a period in my life where there was a lot of letdown, a lot of disappointments, a lot of things that I was not expecting to happen in my life happen. I was in college. I was one of the first individuals in my family to get a scholarship to go off and play sports or to go to college. So that was, to me, that was amazing, you know, and I saw that people were looking up to me and people were just, you know, rooting for me or whatever. And I did not want to fail. So I was carrying the weight of the world on my shoulders. I was carrying a lot of stuff that I not dealt with because I lost my mom and not having my dad in my life, and just a lot of stuff was over me. And when I did not go to class, when I did not do the things that I needed to do to make sure that I was able to continue on in school, and I had to withdraw from school, things just started going downhill from there. Even though they looked on the outside, appeared to be going good and everything, for years, I worked three amazing jobs. I worked for the Keebler Company. I was a store manager for Simply Fashions, ran a clothing store for almost 8 years, traveled up and down the highways, back and forth. And, you know, you would think that, hey, this is the life. You know, it appeared to have been the life for someone that liked that lifestyle. But that was not the life. I ended up going man to man. Just so much took place in my life. I even ended up dating a guy that was way younger than me. Like, I was trying to raise somebody's child. Like, it was just crazy, y'all. But you go through these different things when you're unsure who you are. And you're in that dark place, and things happen to you, and you wonder, how did I get there? It wasn't until I was in this relationship and I was back home in Anderson, South Carolina. And the fast forward to that, I lost my job. I went to real estate school. I missed the test by one point. So I was like, oh, I'm a failure. I'm talking about everything that could happen was happening. And it was just God just closing doors in my life to open up my eyes so that I can get back on track. But yet, here it was. I thought I had control. I thought it was something that I could do and something that I could make a difference in, and was trying to do until I had to face reality and say, okay, I can't do this no more here in Atlanta, that I have to go back home. I have to humble myself, let my family know that I'm a failure, that I can't do this and that. So long story short, I ended up coming back home, but didn't want to face facts, didn't want to reality, still coming back home thinking that, you know, oh, I got to carry this reputation. I got to carry this and go and get involved with this guy. And y'all, this guy off the rip, you know, when I got involved in him, people were like, they were kind of like, why are you getting involved with him? Like he abusive. Like, that's what they told me. Like, and here I am thinking that, hey, I can change somebody. And that was just my mentality, y'all. Not realizing that, hey, I'm still broken. Not realizing that, hey, I'm still going through stuff. I'm still, you know, I'm still missing that father figure. I'm still seeking love in all the wrong places, because think about all these different people that I've been with. Looking for love in all the wrong places, doing all the wrong things. So here I am, found this guy, and he showered me at first, doing all the things that a woman wants a man to do for her, hearing all the things that she think that she wants to hear. And then it happens. It happens. I think we got into a argument. Can't remember what the first one. Now, this is the first time, y'all. We get into an argument, and I forget what happened. This time, when I said enough was enough, was this time he blacked my eye. I never had a black in the eye. I never had any y'all, this was all new to me. But he blacked my eye, and then had the nerves to want to go to a family barbecue. So we was at the family barbecue, and y'all, I'm just sitting up there. I'm letting everybody see my black eye. I didn't put no makeup on. I ain't put no nothing on, because I wanted people to see that this is what this man is doing. And nobody really noticed. Like, I'm trying to get attention, and nobody really noticed. Like, everybody know he's abusive. Like, and the whole time I was there, I'm like, I'm in my mind, I'm like, okay, everybody knows, so you need to get up and get out. So I thought about that thing the whole time I was over there. He's still trying to showcase and show me off with a black eye, y'all. Like, I'm like, okay. So when I left there that day, I went to my cousin's house, and I never went back. He came, he tried to come see me, he tried to talk to me. He got married and do the same thing to his wife now. I had to go. I couldn't be in that. And here I am thinking that I had escaped something. Here I was thinking I had escaped. And I ended up married in 2012. And this story is it's kind of, just listen. I ain't gonna even give y'all no overview. But I went into this relationship, and off the rip, there were some issues. And there were some things going on. But the person that I am and the person that I thought that I could change somebody. Not knowing that I was suffering from codependency, and along with depression, and along with some other mental illnesses that I had been suffering with for some years. I didn't realize that I had been suffering these mental illnesses until after the last domestic violence incident that I was in, and was shot and almost lost my life. Then I realized that I had been going through this stuff, but I didn't know prior to that. And if I had known prior to that, I could have got help and might have avoided a lot of the issues that I had been dealing with in my life. But because I didn't, I was in a very dark place. So I ended up in this relationship with my husband. And I could say the abuse was there even before we got married. I've never shared this story. So this is going to be new. This is the true story. I've never shared this story. I've never openly shared that when I got into my relationship with my husband, there were some drug issues. There was not so much abuse going on, because I knew that I didn't want to be in an abusive relationship. And if I saw signs of abuse, that I was going to leave. But I did know that there were some drug issues. And I got into the relationship knowing that there had been some drug issues. And me thinking that, I'm the person that I am, that I can change this person, that I can help this person change, that I can help this person get off drugs. And I couldn't. And it seemed like that when issues came up with the person, my husband, it was always drugs that he could relate to, and drugs that saw him through. Well, I remember, and people say that I still to this day am trying to cover for my husband, but I'm not, because we all make decisions. We all make choices. We all choose what it is that we're going to do. And I chose to be in that relationship because I thought I could change him. When people show you themselves, you have to take them for who they are. And if they're not willing to get help, and they're not willing to help themselves, there's nothing that you can do. You have to understand that there is nothing that you can do. If they don't want help or willing to change, there's nothing you can do. All you can do is count your losses and go on and just keep them in prayer. Until someone wants to heal, they cannot heal. So in going through this relationship, like me and my husband, we never had the violence that a lot of people think that we had. We didn't. There was not a whole lot of fights. Like with every relationship, we have arguments, but there was no physical fight. We had money issues because everybody know what my husband did. He used to hustle, and everybody knew that. So when I didn't want him doing that, so he was trying this work thing. So we were having money issues. We was going through some things, but here I was still thinking that I could change him. Well, there was a situation that came up dealing with our daughter, which was my stepdaughter, his daughter. And she had been molested. Won't give all of the details because of the people that are involved. But she was molested and ended up giving birth to a child, and so much happened. I remember on my wedding day, that the day we got married, we were sitting in the Anderson County Sheriff Department pressing charges on someone because of what had happened to our baby girl. And I remember, just going through all of that and dealing with a lot of stuff. And I remember that day, the day that I got shot. I was getting ready to go back to work. I was doing a food service through this organization, and we were getting ready to start summer programming, and I was getting ready to go out and get my sites together and go out and check out the sites and do all that. Well, my car was messed up, so I had to borrow my niece's car that day. So I borrowed her car, and I went and I took her car back, and all that, and I was home. Everybody that know me know I like to play cards, so I used to play Tunk. And I was over to my neighbors, which was my husband at the time's aunt. So we were over there and we were all playing cards. And he didn't want to come over there that day. So I didn't think no more about it. And when I got home that night, I saw that we had guests. I went on in my room, let them stay out to where they were. I wasn't even paying attention to what was going on, but I know that when I received the motion of discovery from the night of the incident, that there were drugs involved. There were drugs found on the table, so I know that there were drugs involved. I know that my husband had been dealing with a lot, and we all had been dealing with a lot. And I'm not making excuses because there's no excuse. When you know that somebody's going through something and you know what they're capable of, if you can help them, get them help. Because you don't want to look back and say that, hey, I played a part in this, or this was this, or this was this. I led up to this. No, we don't leave room for error. If you can nip a situation in the bud before it happened, nip it in the bud before it happened. But this journey of domestic violence, it was not expected. Would I wish it on anybody? No. But can you come from domestic violence? Can you survive domestic violence? Yes, you can. Because I remember waking up in that hospital room, my niece standing over me, my dad there, and hearing those doctors say, if I walk, it may be months, it may be years. But I remember wiggling my toes and feeling my toes wiggle. So I smiled because I knew that if I can wiggle my toes, then that means I wasn't paralyzed. So I felt relief, and that relief hit me. And then I realized that, hey, why am I here? And then my niece told me that I had been shot with a sawed-off shotgun, point blank range. And then she showed me the picture of my husband. I couldn't believe that my husband had done that to me, because I remember him wanting to have sex, and I said no. I was tired. I had to get up in the morning, and I really, all I remember was I remember them coming. I remember him being in there. I remember getting on the prayer call, because I used to do a prayer call at midnight, and I remember getting on the prayer call, and I remember the prophetess Keisha. She kept praying. She could not, for some reason that night, she could not get off the phone. She kept praying. She kept saying that the spirit was heavy on her. And she was praying because she didn't know what it was, but she just felt uneased. And she just kept praying. She just kept praying for God to step in and for God to, the lady just covered me. And I know it was those prayers that saved my life, because the enemy wanted to use my husband to take me out of here. And I remember a prophecy that had been spoken over my life. And I remember Beverly White, Apostle Beverly White, telling me, and this was even before I even was married. It was when I was in the relationship with the other guy that I spoke of early. And the reason why I got out of that relationship was because the word that Beverly White spoke over my life. And I thought she was talking about that individual because at that time I was not even married. But she told me, she said that my husband was going to try to take my life. She said, but it was the work of the enemy because the enemy has peeked into my future and knows what God has planned for me. And he wants to stop me at every cost. And he's going to use somebody that that I love. And when I told her, she couldn't believe it. But yeah, that happened. And I tell you, I wasn't expecting that. And because I still wanted to be in a relationship with my husband because I took my vows seriously. So even though me and my husband was not in the same household, we were still married. And I was still trying to work on the relationship. And people say, how you still want to work on something from, he tried to kill you? And I said, well, you got to understand what we was dealing with and what we was going through. I say, and if he's willing to get the help that he needs, I'm willing to work it out because I take my vows seriously. Well, we tried. And I'm here today because I couldn't. And I had to walk away. In 2018, I decided that I was going to end the relationship. I was going to walk away. So I packed up everything that I could in my car. I had a little red Jeep, whatever it was. It was a little Jeep. And I packed up everything that I could pack up in my car. No, I had a blue Jeep. I'm sorry. That was when I moved back to Atlanta. From Atlanta to South Carolina, but I was moving from South Carolina back to Atlanta at this time. And I had a blue Jeep. I had a Jeep Liberty, I think it was. And I packed up everything that I could in my car. And I came to Atlanta. I didn't know what I was going to do, y'all. But I knew that I did not want to be in Anderson, South Carolina, being abused and in an abusive relationship. So I knew that I had been on Facebook and I had been doing all this stuff on Facebook before, y'all. And this is what I tell people. People don't know what you're going through when you're going through. But I was in the midst of a domestic violence relationship while I was out here hosting events. I was out here doing this. I was out here doing that. I was out here doing all this stuff here on social media and out here in these social media streets. But yet your girl was going through. Your girl was still in the backgrounds being verbally abused, not physically, but verbally abused, emotionally abused, financially abused, until I said I had enough. Enough is enough. And I walked away. And then I endured. But I'm here today to let somebody know that you can take your power back. Know who you are. Know your worth. Know that God has placed you here. He's positioned you here to be an overcomer by being a willing vessel to empower, educate, and encourage others through your resilience. See, you had to go through some stuff. I mean, you had to go through it to make you stronger. But now he's giving you that strength. He's giving you that wisdom. He's giving you that knowledge to come up out of it. See, maybe you had to go through, you had to endure a little bit of it so that you can tell somebody else that it's okay. Hey, you can come out of it. You can go through it. I did it. You can do it too. But know that you have power. Know that you didn't get dropped out of the sky because Jeremiah 29:11 said he had a plan for you. To prosper you, for you to be in good health, for you to have hope in the future. His word is not going to return to him void. He's going to watch over until it's performed and perfected in your life. If I knew a lot of the things that I know now, if I had a lot of the people in my life that I had in my life now, would I have endured it? Probably not. But I didn't. I had to go through it so that I could tell somebody else they can. See, God knows what we can and what we cannot endure. He knows what's going to break us, and he knows what's going to make us. So I'm on here today to tell you, yeah, I was that person. I was in the dark. I hid it. I made excuses for people. I wore a lot of hats. But now I wear that hat of transparency. That hat that wants people to heal. That hat that wants you to know the truth. Yeah, that was my past. Yeah, I was that person. I was in an abusive relationship twice, 3 times. 3 times, 3 times. 2 of them could have been avoided. But one of them I had to go through. I had to go through. One of them I had to go through so that I could be a living testimony. I had to go through. So whatever you're enduring right now, know that you endured to this point, but you don't have to endure it no more. Because you endured it. You passed the test. You made it here. You're hearing this. You don't have to be a victim no more. He's giving you the power to stay there, to endure. Now he's giving you the power to go on to the next level. He's giving you the power to go, to get out, to no longer be a victim, but to be victorious. He's giving you that. He took you from victim to victorious. Now walk in your purpose. Walk in your power. Know that you have power. Know that he positioned you to be an overcomer by being a willing vessel to empower others. I hope that something that I've shared with you guys have been encouraging. I hope that it has been inspirational, that it would uplift you, that it would get you out of what you're going through. There's a lot of forms of domestic violence and abuse. But you don't have to go through it. Once you identify it, you can nip it in the bud and move on. That's why I tell people, let go of yourself and allow God to lead and direct you so that he can move you when you need to be moved. I am your girl, Queen of Collaboration, Angela Thomas. I'm an author, motivational speaker, life coach, you name it. I do it because he's given me a voice to share. This journey, would I have chosen this journey? No. But will I choose it again? Yes. If I had to do it all over again, would I do it again? Yes. But I would do it different because now I know. And when you know better, you do better. So now that you know your worth and you know your value, walk in it. I love you and I pray that you're blessed by something that I've shared on today. Take your power back. We have purple power. I love you guys. Be blessed.